I played a lot of games in 2025, my videos make me seem like I'm lying though, which is why I decided to rank every single game that I played this year. There's not really a lot of rules to mention other than the fact that the list is really just personal preference at the end of the day, and not an actual objective look at the games. Yes, I'm totally saying this now to save my ass. No, I do not regret any of my placements, they will make for incredible clickbait. Now, normally people will either list these games on the order that they played them or from worst to best, but in my case, I want to start from the middle because I saw a video in 2020 that said nobody cares about the middle, they only want what's shit and what's hot, and I thought to myself, that's a great idea! I'm with that! And decided to steal the gimmick alongside every other joke in my channel, so here we are. In this tier, we have a trilogy of games that had a special place in my list as they evoked a shocking zero emotions out of me upon playing these titles. And what made these titles be, you may be wondering? Super Mario 3D World is a game that I heard a lot about from other folks, hyping it up as one of the best 3D Marios, and when I finally got the chance to play it on my own...
There's nothing.
Thank you, son.
I can recognize that the game is incredibly well designed and realistically speaking should be in the top of the tier list, but whether it was a result of the game itself or the mindset that I was in playing the game, I just felt on autopilot from beginning to end. It was a good game to play multiplayer with a pal, but I'll be damned if I say that this game is a top 5 3D Mario. Exit the Gungeon is a spin-off of one of my favorite roguelikes of all time, and after playing it a couple of times and reaching the final boss in like 3 hours, my verdict is that the game is a whole bunch of, and the crowd goes mild! It's supposed to be a little side project, and the devs are working on a proper follow-up to Gungeon as we're speaking, but even without considering this one a follow-up to Enter the Gungeon, the game just doesn't manage to escape the it's aight range of emotions. Metroid Prime Pinball. What the fuck do you want me to say here? The artistic vision is incredible. Now we have games that I enjoyed and were generally considered to be good, but not much more than that. And we're starting with none other than ass. No, literally, it's just, I'm just staring at ass, like that's the game. I would honestly like to play more of Nikke. The only thing is the fact that I'm already linked with another gacha game and I can't be dedicating all my life to gambling machines such as these. The game is incredibly fun from the early game that I played though. And the story was legitimately interesting with great character designs. What else could you want? Honkai Star Rail will fall under a similar category. Good gacha game, but stop and look me in the eyes! Do you think I'm about to rank a Hojoverse game higher than C tier? Brother, I will cast this world into eternal damnation before I let this company get any more props from me! I was originally gonna make a video playing all the Sonic games to celebrate Cross Worlds releasing. Plans fell through, so the latest game that I played was Rivals, but I still ended up playing some of the games. This is the highest Sonic racing game made on the list. Sonic Riders has style, and a lot of it. Fucking swag from head to toe. I just kind of wish that the game told me how to play it. Played through the entire story mode, more or less. I felt like I was learning shit as I went along, because my tutorials were absolutely not helpful whatsoever. And to be honest, with these CPUs, I may finally have found a reason to develop anger issues. I fucking despise you. The game is pretty decent though. All the Sonic racing games will be getting a revisit next year, so maybe I changed my mind about some of them. Gang Beasts, Golf It, Pico Park, all games to play with friends. They were all pretty fun, not much else to say. Pokerogue is an interesting fan game in which they transform Pokemon into a 200 battle roguelike with Pokemon from every generation. I thought it was pretty good, if only a bit too long for my liking, but other than that, hell yeah!
Mario Kart 7!
I played every Mario Kart game to make a video on Mario Kart World. Plans fell through. Again. Mario Kart 7 is one of the weirdest Mario Kart games because I think if Mario Kart 8 didn't exist, it would probably be one of the best Mario Karts in the series. It's got one of the best track selections in the series, introduced a lot of staples for the franchise, and controls really well. Pop quiz, why would you play this now? Queen Bee? 8 Deluxe is literally everything that you could want from a Mario Kart game. It quite certifiably, without a shadow of a doubt, snatched 7's whole legacy, made it better, and left 7 as the one game with little to no reason to come back to. Absolutely unfortunate legacy.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Alright, now we can get all this the fuck out of the way and start getting into the pretty good stuff. Bravely Default, ASTRO, Lorelei, Silent Hill 2. All games that I think are really good, but didn't get the chance to beat before making the video, so I just left them in this tier so I can rage bait some poor fools with the thumbnail. Repo! Lovely. I actually replayed Sparking Zero this year when I went to my best buddy Jason's house and slept in his bed. Honestly, playing it like that really gave me a better impression of the game than all the other times that I played it previously. The Sparking Zero experience truly is best when you're just in the same room as another person and get rage baited into nearly throwing hands in real life. Metroid Prime 4 is a game that I want to save many of my comments on since I am working on a video talking about the entire Metroid series. But for now, what I will say is that the game is fun. Definitely way overhated from what I saw. But the fact that the game is this good considering all the shit that had to happen for the game to come out is impressive. The thing is, I feel like there were things that felt a little bit half-baked, mainly the desert. Like in general, the game feels a whole lot more linear than I would have liked. Metroid Prime 1 and 2, I don't know, I haven't played 3. They both had very non-linear levels, at least they managed to give that illusion. Exploring around didn't feel like you were just going on a straight line, going over here, going over here, going over here. Uh-oh, I can't access that yet, gotta backtrack, maybe take a little turn to the left, visit the fucking shop down the street, and then we can go back to the park. No, you actually felt like you were exploring a world, and that is something that I just kind of feel like I didn't get at times with the game. As if that wasn't annoying enough, a lot of the enemies can be a bit of a pain to fight at times, and... Woo! Woo! The final fetch quest is easily the worst of any Prime game that I've played. Again, I still haven't played 3, so I don't know how that game does it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's worse, I don't know. Despite as many flaws, however, I still enjoyed the game. The levels were fun to explore when it wasn't super linear. Combat was decent, the cast of characters was actually enjoyable, music was cool, and I really enjoyed Alex as a villain. If the game had a bit more time, I feel like it could have been definitely better, but what we got is by no means bad, and I'm excited to see where they take the Prime games next. Now, please don't let it take another 10 years to get Metroid Prime 5, for the love of God. Muse Dash is also another game that I played because I like rhythm games, and the game had a bunch of collabs, so I got interested and ended up thinking, yeah, that was a good time. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is an incredible platforming game that feels silky smooth all the way through. Again, I don't really have a lot to say. It's just a pretty good game, yeah, no, just go check it out. Before anybody says anything, yes, I was lining up a Target at like 7 in the morning to get a Switch 2 on launch day. Yes, I succeeded and played a lot of Mario Kart. No, I don't regret my decision. No, I don't think it's the best Mario Kart. The game is beautiful visually and has some of the best tracks in the series. But as a complete package, I don't know. I have heard that Nintendo has been patching the game a bunch and adding stuff to make the overall gameplay loop a lot smoother. But I still think DS and 8 Deluxe are the ones for me. Still a really good game though. Gravity Circuit was a really fun game that I played while I cried myself to sleep knowing my goat was dead and would more than likely never come back, not knowing that Capcom was laughing their asses off preparing a black magic ritual for the Game Awards. Surely this means that Rayman has a chance too, right? Slime Rancher 2 is a game that I have covered extensively this year, and I'll probably do a video on it in Slime Rancher 1 next year covering the full experience. I thought the game was pretty good, but some of the progression aspects in 2 made me enjoy the experience a lot less than I did with 1. But if you want to hear why I feel that way about the game, then the video that I published earlier this year explains it in a semi-decent manner. F-Zero GX. Ah! Yeah. I get it now. Stick fight the game. My commentary in this entry is about as deep as the amount of muscles that these guys have on. Brother, what the fuck do you want me to say? Capcom vs SNK 2 is a game that I wish I was better at because the experience overall is just so damn groovy, man. The style, the characters, the music. I hopped on some battles online and got my ass whooped. Yeah, I'ma keep my ass in Guilty Gear and Smash, bro. I'm finished! And lastly on the B tier, Dokkan Battle's 10th anniversary this year has made me think a lot about many things, mainly the inescapable passage of time considering that I started playing this game before I started middle school. I'm in my second year of university now. It also made me think about the weird phenomenon of seeing a live service game evolve through time alongside my own dumbass. It made me feel a little nostalgic alongside the horror of knowing that this game will be a reminder of my own mortality. Overall, I've enjoyed where the game is at this current point in time, but because it's still a gacha game, I'm throwing it down right here in the B tier. I mainly started playing this game because Clive got in, but to be fair, the game on its own is really fun. I've never played another Tekken game before 8. I do know that there is a lot of people who aren't satisfied with the current state of the game, or something along those lines, but the game is fun, and I would play it more if it wasn't for the fact that the game is damn near 100 gigabytes. Now that ain't cool, Bandai Namco, what the fuck? Needy, Streamer, Overload, and Demon Turf are also titles that I covered in one of my videos alongside Slime Rancher 2, and just like Slime Rancher, I'm just gonna tell you to watch the video. Like now, click on it, please! Now, originally I wasn't the biggest fan of the game. Now, it wasn't like I hated it or anything, right? I just simply thought that other Mario Karts were better. But after playing the entire series in retrospect for that failed Mario Kart World video that is going nowhere and it will absolutely never see the light of the day, I have one thing to say: look at me in the eyes! And tell me that 64 is better than this game. Brother, I will exercise you! The game is chaotic and a little bit ugly if we're being honest, but apart from that, it is a quintessential Mario Kart experience. Not the best one, but one that you can never go wrong with playing. Now, if we're speaking of the best one, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is honestly the definitive experience. A shitload of tracks and characters, beautiful game overall, and great music to accompany it. Great controls, and I don't gotta drive in the highway to get to the next track. Mario Kart World is cool and all, but that shit don't got Sydney toured. This shit is incredible! Indivisible is a game that I've technically not finished, but I'm like, right at the end, I just gotta get off my ass and actually finish it. The game is a unique blend of RPG and Metroidvania, with a combat system and mechanics that I never grew tired of. I would honestly really recommend it. The only reason that it isn't higher is... shit, I don't know, man. Competition is just really steep as hell, and I really in good conscience can't say that I enjoyed the game more than Quiplash. Jackbox is the perfect game to determine if the people I'm friends with can be considered normal members of society or potential inclusions in Arkham Asylum. Brother, I'm surrounded by freaks! The games are about as fun as the friends that you're playing them with, but when it comes to playing with my friends, this is honestly the one option I'm almost never against. So I'm just putting all of them up in the A tier. Hyper Light Drifter is a game that I wasn't expecting to like quite as much as I did. It's another game that I made a video on right here, and while I will say that the game starts out a bit slow, exploration and progression quickly evolves and creates a wonderful experience. The biggest issue with the game for me is still simply the fact that some shit feels a bit too obtuse, rubber goose head ass to find, and I had to bust out a walkthrough multiple times. And while some of them were definitely my fault, some of them I was just like, oh, come the fuck on. Still, I think that the game deserves its spot in the A tier alongside the Monkey Man. DK Bonanza is great, man. Exploration and all that shit is a pure delight. Bonanza transformations are awesome to mess around with. We got Sticker Bush Symphony in here. K. Rool. Listen, it's not a spoiler anymore. Nintendo threw that bastard in the fucking mobile app.
Here we go!
Can you tell that this was the Mario Kart that I grew up with? I just love Mario Kart DS, man. After replaying it, I can confidently say that the game has plenty of issues. The retro tracks feel retro, parentheses, negative connotation, close parentheses, and the AI sometimes just feels like it's fucking cheating. However, I just have so much fun with the game that I can't find it in me to put it anywhere other than the top of the Mario Kart series. If you ask me which game is the best, I will probably say that 8 Deluxe is the best when it comes to content and overall package. The game literally just has so much of it, so many tracks, so many characters. It's hard to argue otherwise, but DS is still an incredible time. Now, since I've already made videos on every other Souls game and Shadows of the Earth 3, you would think that I would have made a video on Night Rain as well, but to be truthful, my ass just forgot. The game is in a weird space in which I don't think it's that goated as a Souls-like or a roguelike, but combined it is fucking insane. A run is so fast and chaotic that even after the nameless king appears to smite you down, how do you get here? You still feel the urge to immediately hop back in and try again. I'll probably try making a video alongside the DLC whenever Dustbloods comes out, but for now, just know that the game is goated. Yeah, that's it, no, just go play it. And finally, at the top of the A tier, we have Mouthwashing is an interesting game, both from its own qualities, presentation, and the overall message it's trying to present, as well as through the ways in which social media has in many ways completely butchered any sort of nuance and sensitive subject matter of the game. I saw people drawing memes of this motherfucker like he's just a silly guy. All time he's just a silly offender! Only reason his ass wasn't on the registry is because the mere thought of him facing the consequences for his actions led to him changing 4 people's lives for the worst. No solid reason, no motive, no plan, no nothing, just pure dickhead behavior for the love of the game. The game has some incredible commentary and really hammers home the responsibility a person has when taking accountability, and how that inability to step up can harm yourself and those around you. I just don't know if the fans are all too focused on that plot point. Now, we're getting to the worst parts of the tier list. The games that I played and the ones you see my rankings of will make you remember that I'm still a university student. I played Pokemon Soul Silver to make a video on it since it was the very first Nuzlocke that I've ever done, legit rules and everything. And while Nuzlocking was very fun, playing through the actual game would have been miserable! It's already bad enough that Johto has the worst decks out of any of the generations. You mean to tell me I also have to deal with bad and underlevel Pokemon to add to my team? I am at the final stretch of the game. Dude, why are these Pokemon not even level 40? I played with more than likely than not exactly, not denying, not confirming, some interesting methods for the purposes of Nuzlocking, which allowed me to level up Pokemon more easily and more freedom when choosing who to add to my party for certain gym leaders. The problem is that this is not the intended way to play the game. Grinding is the only path forward, and the progress you make with it feels like climbing the infinite staircase of Super Mario 64. You are getting nowhere with it. The game isn't challenging for the most part. The story is... well, I will say that Kanto was really good, but is going to a better region really the best selling point that we can come up with here? This is like if we played a Sword and Shield and suddenly they had a DLC in which we can go to Hoenn. Does that really make Sword and Shield a good game? It also doesn't help that the Gen 4 engine is one of my least favorite engines for Pokemon, arguably my least favorite, although that is generally not a problem of the game itself. As I said, I had a lot of fun Nuzlocking the game, but I'm not super confident I would have enjoyed the game as much without all the additional caveats that I added for myself. And while we're on the topic of shitting on beloved games, I understand why these games are beloved, especially Double Dash, but for the love of God, I just cannot get used to the controls on any of these games. I can give Double Dash a pass in many areas, but playing 64 was deadass just rough, dog. Whole time I was just playing it and wishing that I was playing something else, a comment I will quickly come to regret considering the Mario Kart game immediately following it. Sonic R was honestly an enjoyable time. As a racing game, I like how it incorporated classic sound design philosophies into the characters and track designs. And there's only 5 tracks, a bunch of clones, and Egg Robot plus Amy, just for funsies, evidently. The process for unlocking them requires exploring with these obtuse rubber goose head-ass controls on top of getting first place, while getting all the collectibles. Are we being for real right now? At least unlocking Supersonic was fine and made everything easier. I don't know if that's actually like a good thing, but hey, playing with Supersonic was pretty fun. Oh, I don't really have anything to say about Payday. It's not like it's bad or anything, it just wasn't my thing. I mean, when you really get down to it, the game ain't even that bad for real. Compared to the first game, the experience was a lot more streamlined and digestible. It just sucks that the screen was a bunch of this, the game feels like a bunch of hallways, and the game gets really stale by the last third of the journey. Thank God for the remake. Lockdown Protocol is honestly, okay, well, being more honest, I don't remember that much of the game, but it was fun to dick around with friends, I think. Unfortunately, I didn't feel like coming back to it after a couple of play sessions, so we just kind of moved on to other stuff. We went back to Valorant. Golf with friends makes me and my friends tilted as shit. But I'll be lying if I said I wasn't having fun as well as just seeing them all over mini-golf. Toontown was ridiculous in all the right ways. Honestly, I'd be willing to put it higher if my friends and I decided to play more of it. It also has this. Like, listen, I'm no writer, but there's a reason they made Kamoshida touch those kids. I've already made an entire video shitting on Persona 5X, and it will kind of feel like I'm just retreading all ground, but to summarize, Why would I ever play this game over Persona 5? The game feels like a lesser version of Persona with lesser mechanics to accommodate to gacha systems implemented while actively shattering the balance and systems that are carefully built in the Persona games, resulting in an experience that technically has all the elements of a Persona game without any of the mechanical storytelling techniques, nor the fun time management aspects that make people even want to play the game in the first place, on top of having a best value ass version of the Persona system, which only made me want to play Honkai Star Rail instead of this. At least the game had Last Strike in its OST. From here on, we have a bunch of racing games, some of which made me feel like I was wasting my damn time. Some others that actively infuriated me. In Sonic Rivals. Sonic racing game with the characters racing each other, and we get a game in which the most complex decision in the moment-to-moment gameplay is thinking whether you want to shut the game off or keep pressing the right button for another 3 levels. Man! What? At least Mario Kart World had me schmoovin' on the highway. This game keeps me on the right lane the whole time and it's still moving like 5 PM traffic. This is ridiculous! Best thing the game did was getting a sequel with Race to Win as the main title, and that's the most that I can say for it. No More Room in Hell is a game that I played for like an hour tops with friends, didn't know what I was doing, and decided that I had enough, jumped into the abyss of the Riot Games launcher. Is it unfair to put the game here? Yes it is, but also I just wanted to pad out the tier list a little, and for that purpose, I mean, it's more worth than I'm ever gonna get out of it. Metroid 1 is one of those games in which its legacy carries set in the modern viewpoint, because while a very impressive and revolutionary title for its time, the experience of playing it nowadays is something that I can only describe as incredibly painful. Again, this is another title that I just want to save all my complete thoughts of once I get the Metroid game video out for next year, you know? But for now, it's just gonna have to suffice for me to say that I'm not the biggest fan of the game. Now technically, this game is in the lowest level of the tier list and should be the worst game that I played this year. That's not wrong. But wholeheartedly, I want to talk more about the next 2 games, so I'm just gonna lump it in here with the rest. Why do you exist? Of all the things that Sega could have done, Sonic Fall Guys might be in contention for the weirdest thing they've come up with. Not bad, mind you. It's just hella confusing, especially because I hate it. Open the game, and before I even managed to enter a single fucking round, I got my eyes atomized by a frankly astounding number of microtransactions. This is when I knew this shit was not gonna move me. Yeah, this would I might as well just take my ass to Stumble, guys. Like, what are we doing? Roblox is a game/experience that always eluded me, always being something present at some point in my life, but never something I properly interacted with past playing Speedrun 4, the Survive the Disaster games from a decade ago, and Pokemon Break Bronze before it got taken down for being too good with the sauce. Afterwards, I tried giving the game many more chances, and was constantly met with shit that would take a person's IQ and drop it to the first level of hell, super manipulative tactics on top of aggressive monetization tactics, and obviously, many game-wide policies that are constantly endangering people who haven't reached the age of consent yet. Being a shit game is bad enough, actively endangering people and calling it an opportunity is downright devious. Despicable even. Valorant isn't a game that I would consider bad. At least, I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough in the mechanics and in-depth competitive scenes to properly give you an assessment of the game's mechanics, and with what I do know, I would actually argue that the game is pretty well made. Just ignore the ranked matchmaking, because sweet mother of pearl does the rank experience feel like I'm getting hit with a metal bat repeatedly! The reason for why Valorant is even here in the first place is because it's arguably the only game I've played this year that actively made me feel like a worse person. The amount of times I played the game and repeated losses led to me and my friends getting real life tilted is way more than I'm comfortable to admit, and that's just not the kind of experience that I want to have. I have gotten less moments of pure blood boiling rage from all the Souls games combined than a single session of Valorant that lasted at most 2 hours. Is this not insane? Is this not insane? I'm in Iron Hell and Bow, I can admit that much. I am absolutely dookie butter sewer water at the game, because I can also tell you with confidence that I don't want to improve in a game that constantly results in me being more angry than a Twitch and Kick streamer being forced to show any sort of intelligent thought. I will tell you right now, I don't think that Valorant is actually a bad game, but from a casual player's perspective, it is simply not the experience that I'm looking to have. I enjoy seeing the tournaments and the spectacles. I reiterate that the game is incredibly well made, but I just don't want to have an experience that actively tells me, and for that reason, it is my least favorite game that I've played this year. But enough about the negatives, we've got the real stars of the show. My favorite games that I've played this year. Let's start out by listing the games that I've replayed because these ones are as Hollow Knight, BottleOttleDelottle, Sonic Unleashed, Shadow Generations are all great games, but I've already played them before, therefore I'm not wasting any time with these. Now on to the games that I'm just ass at but have fun with anyways. Fighting games are games that I constantly enjoy seeing and playing even if I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, and these two are probably my favorite ones that I've played this year. King of Fighters is an incredible game with a very fun roster and Angel. What else can I say? Street Fighter 6 is a game that I really need to get back into. I haven't played it since the first couple of weeks of the Switch 2 release, since that's when I bought it, but it instantly is one of my favorite fighting games, just pure fun all around. Marvel Rivals is a game that I just enjoy more with time. This season so far has been my favorite out of all the ones that I've played this year, with my favorite additions to the cast in Rogue and Gambit, and I can't wait for Deadpool in January. This shit just keeps getting better and better. I'm telling you right now, when Scott Summers Cyclops appears, we will be playing as Batman's mentor. Yes, sir! This match was a game I was incredibly surprised by due to how good it was. Originally, I wasn't really interested in the game, but seeing all the hype surrounding it as the first couple of chapters came out made me give it a chance, and I mean, shit. It's also a game that gives me a chance to finally use this image where the spiritual pressure of the intimidating 5'6" man made us look like he was a fan of me, and not the other way around. Pokemon Legends CA. Everything that I can and will say can and will be used against me in the future, so I'm just gonna save those problems for when I decide to make a Legends CA video, but for now, I really like the game. Despite the fact that I don't like hyper-competitive games like MOBAs, something about Dragon Ball Squadra was too appealing for me. It is generally just a really fun game, maybe due to its presentation, but I actually feel like a competent motherfucker playing the game, and the fact that matches are short and sweet makes it a great title to play casually and with friends. Crossroads is pretty much everything that I wanted from a kart racing game. It's fast and frenetic, has tight controls, why did I say it like that? And it's addictive enough to make me want to come back to the game multiple times. Now, despite all that though, the music is still the best part. Mario Kart got no cyberspace, no Wonder Museum, no Chrono Island, motherfucker, this is cinema! We are officially in the top 5 games that I played this year, and starting off we have a game that arguably it's most people's number 1. I still haven't finished E33, but if I'm not editing the video right now, chances are I'm playing the game. And from an artistic, thematic, and mechanical standpoint, the game is incredible in all ways and deserves many of the accolades given to it. However, it was not beating Hades 2 in music and art direction. That is the one thing I am not budging on. Being a bit more serious, I also think that for many people, that loud minority definitely soured the experience a little. It's already bad enough having to see people acting like this is the third RPG ever made. The first one was Final Fantasy VII, the second one was Persona 5, thank you for asking. And now I'm seeing people calling this game revolutionary and never seen before, like Mario and Luigi weren't doing this shit back in the early 2000s. Y'all are corny! The game is amazing because of it taking so much from its inspirations and creating something so fresh with it. And while it isn't my favorite game of the year, it certainly is a goddamn incredible one. But please, for the love of God, some of you need to get that meat out your mouth. I honestly don't know what to say about Hades 2. Everything that was good about Hades 1 just got hit with the double it and give it to the next person. The game basically has 2 different runs that you can do, both with an entirely different roster of bosses and enemies, on top of the completely new weapons and abilities that Melinoe has. The attention to detail in the game is sincerely worrisome, like extremely so. I am worried about the life force of Supergiant Games, dude. What kind of inhuman dedication do you need to have to give a boss not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 separate boss themes? There is obviously the matter of the story, which is a can of worms I do not want to open. So for now, just know that this game is incredible gameplay wise. Story-wise, you can make your own conclusions. I don't want to touch that. My favorite game of 2025 asterisk is Silksong, and to be frank, it's not close at all. Very few games can have the level of masterclass design, world building, art, and sound direction that Hollow Knight has, and the fact that Silksong not only matched it but also surpassed it in many aspects is something so impressive that I lack the words to properly describe it. There is no limit to the glaze! The feelings of triumph, discovery, intrigue, the boss design, the map design, and its integration of world building aspects are honestly unmatched by most games I've ever played. The biggest distractor for the game for most people will normally be the difficulty, but honestly it only ever motivated me to climb to higher peaks whenever I got stuck in a specific portion of the game. I also want to save my thoughts for the game once the first DLC comes out, but for now, just know the game is a masterpiece and it's my favorite game of 2025. Well, technically second favorite, because there is... The Deltarune gameplay is already incredible, but on top of all that, the unique encounters, presentation, theory, crafting, the music, man! From Five Nights at Freddy's! Depending on how the next 3 chapters come out, Deltarune could be one of the best indie games of all time, if not one of the best games ever. The game has all the cards laid out ahead of it. All that it needs to do is simply make the right plays and finish with a bang. Some games give you an experience that you never forget, and for me, One Shot is one of those few. From the moment I played it and made the video on it, months and months afterwards, and to this day, I just cannot stop thinking about the game, about its mechanics, about its messages. It's not a game that I usually play, much less from a genre that I particularly like. I've never been too interested in the RPG Maker games in which exploration is the main focus, if you can't tell by the fact that there's a sheer 0 games of that style on my list. One Shot, however, managed to suck me in and didn't let me go until the credits for the true ending were finished, and all I could do was sit in awe as I realized that the experience I had here would probably never be replicated again. Yet again, like many of my other favorites, I already made a video on it, and if you want my full thoughts and opinions, then that does the job just fine. If you want to play the game, I heavily recommend the PC version, although Void Machine is still pretty good. This is one of the best games you can possibly play, and I can't recommend it enough. It is easily one of the best games I've ever played, and right now, it is my favorite game that I played in 2025. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm just a random stranger man on the internet, but hey, just call me Pseudo. Happy holidays, and see you in 2026.